So I want to walk you guys through a real world home theater because you can get kind of lost watching YouTubers and Instagram and whatever of really extravagant home theaters, but for the average Joe like myself and maybe you, it's not realistic. So I want to walk you through my home theater and all the challenges and all the sacrifices and compilations that we had to go through just to make a good home theater. And you guys can see, I know you guys hear about all the rules, follow this rule, do this, do that, don't do this, put this here. I want to show you guys some of the things I go through with my home theater, how I've gotten around it, and how I've achieved a really good home theater, even in a unideal space. Let's just start off with the obvious. It's just the room itself. This is a very small room. It's 13 feet long by about 10 and a half feet wide. So not a big room whatsoever, kind of your average home bedroom. I do have an option for a much bigger room that would allow me for a lot more space, more ease of use, but I chose the smaller room more because it's symmetrical, it's a perfect rectangle, and it's really easy for me to calibrate in here and make it sound good. So I chose this room, but because it is smaller, we are limited on seating. I have 2 seats in this home theater. They're both from Valencia, and I'm a kind of guy who rather have a cozy home theater, like a couch or a sectional or a U couch, something like that. I would love to have that opposed to home theater seating because I like to lay down or relax or kick back or whatever. But I'm fortunate and blessed enough to have companies who want me to review their products. So, of course, I'm going to use these chairs while I have them. But I only have 2 seats in here. I have had 3, but these seats are too wide. I've had smaller theater seats where I was able to put a row of 3 in here. But with these seats, they're too wide. So I'm stuck with 2. But it's been fine. It's just myself and my girlfriend in here most of the time. Sometimes her family comes in, they watch movies, whatever. But there's never really more than 2 of us in here at a time. And if there is, I do have chairs I can bring in just for the time being. So space is limited, but I feel like I'm the king of small spaces. My apartment wasn't any bigger than this room here. So if you guys take a look around, it is symmetrical, but it's not very wide. So I don't have a lot of places to, put my subwoofers, for example. I don't really have anywhere to put them. They can only really go in one place. I can move them around on this plane right here, but I can't really, put them anywhere else. I can't really put them on the side or anything like that because it's kind of into the room. So they kind of are where they are. Luckily, they work where they are. They sound really good. This is 2 of 4 that I have. So here's a better look at the seating here. Now, my room is really awkward because as you guys can see on this door, there is a hump right here. It kind of protrudes just a little bit. So it kind of makes the room, hey, we got a visitor here. How you doing, buddy? It makes the room kind of push in a little bit. So my seat is actually in the center. This is the middle of the room right here. This is where I sit, and then anybody who's with me will sit over here. This is the sweet spot. This is a really good spot too, but that's the sweet spot. So I'm equal distance from everything here, but that little hump here takes a little bit of real estate away from the room. So everything's kind of pushed over to my left right now. So let's talk about this doorway because my seats are where they are. We are barely clearing. Let's check this out here. So if I open and close the door, we make it. Nothing really back here. No reason to get back here anyway, so it doesn't bother me. Nice entrance into here. But check out this speaker here. This is my surround left speaker. It's an on-wall, but it takes a little space. Nobody's yet to bump it. Nobody's ran into it, so it seems fine. And you see it before you get into the door anyway. So it's worked out for me back here. Now, because my seats are so tall, my surrounds have to be higher than my seats to be able to, hear them when you're sitting down. Most people's head level actually comes here because these seats are so tall, especially if you kind of lay down or relax in them. So I had to kick the surround sounds up. And a lot of people say you need your speakers ear level. Well, if I have them ear level, they'll be firing to the back of the chair. So a lot of you guys hear us say, you got to have speakers ear level, don't put them too high, but sometimes you just simply have to if you're going to make them work. So let's talk about some acoustic treatment in here. This room is symmetrical. It's small, so it's not too bad, but this floor here is all made of wood. There's a lot of hard surfaces, reflective surfaces in here. This acoustic treatment that I have in this room has been amazing. I have a panel here, a panel here, and a panel here. That one does all of my kind of high notes, my echoes, things like that. It does about down to 80 hertz, but it's best for mid bass. I do have some in the ceiling that's 2, and then there's some down there that I need to put back up, but those do some of those high frequencies. Those are just foam up there. And then it has some bass traps on the wall. I just got those recently. I'm going to get a lot more to kind of tame some bass, but those are doing pretty well for me too. So with all these hard surfaces, it's not ideal. Things can sound very tinny, almost like being in a bucket sometimes, but acoustic treatment has helped me deal with that. So because this room is also small, I don't really have enough space to put acoustic treatment and decor. I would love to have movie posters or something like that in this room. It's just not really going to happen, more so because I want panels instead. Now I know you can get art panels, make them look good. I don't mind the acoustic panel look. It's a dedicated home theater. So I'm not worried about getting, art, whatever, but I do have some things like the popcorn sign next to the popcorn machine. I do have the action sign above the amp rack. I have the big saxophone on the doorway, the cinema sign. On the outside, we got the curtains with the, we call them things, I can't remember, the tassels. And then you have the movie and enjoy. So there's some cool decorative art here. I got some decorative pillows that my dog is climbing on right now. So I have some decorative pillows here. And then this blanket was sent to me by a company that says movie time on the back. So there's some cool stuff going on in here. And then I added a rug in here, not only to add to the acoustic treatment, but to add a little pop to the room because it was kind of boring in here for a while. So those are things that I kind of done to kind of help liven up the room a little bit, not be so, I don't know, kind of boring or depressing, you can say. So let's go to the projector screen. I have this ultra short throw projector that I'm using that was sent out to me, and it's a fantastic projector. It's probably one of the best right now. And because of my small layout, I don't have room to put this projector here and have a center channel. So I've opted in for an on-wall center channel that's behind my acoustically transparent screen. But because I need this speaker to be behind the screen, everything has to move up. This is a 120-inch screen, so it's literally from wall to wall. I'll zoom out here. Wall to wall is the screen. So I need it to be in front of that speaker, meaning everything's up about, I don't know, 8-9 inches off the wall, including my subs and my speakers, if not more, in the projector. So now it's into the room a lot more. And it has helped for sound mostly, but I would love to be able to push my subwoofers back behind the speakers, things like that, or push my screen further back because it is so big. But I'm limited, and that's okay. It's okay if you're limited. You don't have to be perfect is the point of this video. I will go ahead and press this button right here because this will raise that screen so you guys can see. He loves it when I raise the screen because he watches it go up and doesn't really know what it is. But because my screen is so big, I have to have it where it's at. I used to have an on-wall screen, but this screen was sent to me as well, so of course I'm going to utilize it. Now that I have bass chops behind it, I can't get an on-wall screen anymore because they share the same space. So it's just small things like that that make doing this a little bit more difficult, but there's my screen. Looks really good in this room whenever you have the screen up and you see everything. It really ties it all in. So let's talk about the amp rack because I was worried about space. I didn't want my amps and everything in the room. 1, because of noise. 2, because of heat. But 3, because that's more space that it's going to take up. So I managed to take this closet and make it a giant amp rack. I took the closet door off and I made my own glass door here so you can see through it. The bottom is hollowed out there because there is a subwoofer in there firing in the room. That's my near field sub. But all of my equipment is housed in this amp rack here. And it's been perfect. I have an exhaust fan up top and I've made it work for me. So it's just me and my girlfriend. She has the entire closet in that bedroom. I have a huge laundry room that I've also made into my own closet. So I've allowed this closet to be my amp rack. So there's multiple shelves. I'll actually make it a little bit prettier here soon. But all my equipment is in here. I have a universal remote to control everything. So I've made that work for me. And that's what is important, is making it work for you. And it has. I can get to everything, control everything. And I love to see my equipment. I don't want to hide it completely. I love seeing my equipment on and powered up. All the lights, the blue lights, the whatever. It's really cool. So I really like that about my home theater. I don't want that to go away. So let's talk about this window right here. A lot of people have told me to cover this window. Well, this window leads to the garage port. Can't see nothing really, but this is the garage port outside. And literally no light comes through this window. So even in bright daylight, middle of the day, it's still pretty dark in this room. So I haven't really felt the need to take this down. However, I would love to have another panel right here. This would be perfect for another acoustic panel here. So I may board it up one day, but it really hasn't been a problem for me. I may paint it the same color as the wall to bring less attention to it, but it really hasn't been a problem. But a lot of people in the real world can't cover this window. Maybe this is a living room window that you can't cover, or it's a patio sliding door. You can't cover that, whatever the case is. So I'm the same way as you guys. I have a window smack dab in the middle of my room here. So it is what it is. The last thing that I'll say about this room and some of the things we had to work around is just speakers in general. I used to have Kef R11s in here. They're not a very big tower speaker, relatively skinny, kind of a stick of a speaker. And I wanted to upgrade. And when you upgrade from them, you usually get bigger. I'm a tower speaker person, but I can't really have towers, really big towers in this room because the room doesn't fit that kind of size. It wouldn't make sense audio wise or kind of physically. So I opted in for these monitors. It's the best of both worlds. They're huge for monitors, but they're smaller than tower speakers on some stands. So I've made that work for me. Yes, they're pulled off the wall from the back wall a little bit. I would like them to be off the wall from the side, but as you guys can see, that's not possible. We'd be blocking the screen if I did that, and my subs are in the way anyway. So I opted in for monitors instead of towers because I can still get tower-like sound without the tower size, and that's worked for me. My surround sounds are Q4s from Kef. No, obviously they aren't the same brand, but they have worked perfectly for me. They don't sound much different timbre-wise, tonality-wise, than the Arundel 1528. As far as the tweeter goes, they sound very similar to each other. So they actually blend. I can't tell that they're different whatsoever. And it's worked for me perfectly. It allows me to keep these. They're relatively thin as far as on the wall goes. I don't want to go built in into the wall. I don't want to fix the wall when I move. This has been a perfect workaround where I get good sound. They play loud, but they don't, take too much space, if any at all. So it's worked perfectly. So those speakers that I chose are for the room. I can go bigger if I wanted to. I could have bought towers, but I chose to go a little bit smaller and still get good sound. So I want to close this video just by saying most people don't have an ideal home theater, and people that you watch on YouTube, it's hard sometimes to watch them because you don't relate to them because they have really nice stuff, really cool stuff. I don't want you guys to get discouraged. Work with what you have, make it work for you, and then once you do, just be happy with it. Don't chase numbers, don't chase items, don't chase after people. Do what you can do in your own home theater, get it dialed in, and I promise you, you can have a killer home theater in a small room or in an awkward shaped room or an open floor plan. You can do it. I promise you, you can do it. I know this is my own home theater, but I promise you that this little home theater that I have beats a lot of big basement home theaters, whatever. I've heard tons of home theaters with better speakers or whatever, bigger rooms. I promise you that the experience in here is just as good, and you can have that same experience in your home. So with that being said, guys, leave me a comment down below and let me know what are some complications that you've had in your home theater that you've overcome, whether it's room size, whether it's financial stuff, whether it's room shape. Let me know down below what issues have you had in your home theater that you've managed to overcome, and tell me how killer your home theater is anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and we will see you in the next video. KPS Guy out. Peace.